Good morning. So, this spiritual awakening really it's a shift. It's something that happens gradually, and it's something that happens on its own once it's set in motion. So, once you are able to start the shift, it happens on its own. And really, you don't have to know the whole path from where you are at. You just have to set it in motion and trust that there is divine guidance and that there is a divine way of things working out. And if you think about it, it's just like a sequence of events. If you move this from here to here, it's moved. So, I mean, that's a very simple way of looking at it, simplistic way of looking at it. But let's say if you have a dream, I did a video yesterday and I got some comments on it this morning, and they really inspired this video. People are sharing with me their own paths, and it really got me in motion. You see, everything touches everything. And it is enough a lot of times that you just set something in motion for it to catch momentum and catch life, and it opens up on its own. You can't see the path. You can't see where I am sitting now. I get in the car and I start driving. Let's say I'm going to town. I can't see what's going on in town right now before I get there. But I do trust that I'm going to get there just by setting it in motion. And so if you just take one little step in the direction, it can open up into multiple different directions. But you do have to take that first step. You do have to believe that there is a path and that you are worthy of it. And if you say to yourself, well, I really want to do this, but I don't know. If you say, I don't know, you're closing off those opportunities to yourself, because you do know. You do know what you want to do. Maybe you don't know how to do it. Maybe you haven't believed that you are worthy of it. Maybe you didn't think that it is attainable for you in this lifetime, or other people can, but I can't. Or I have all these other responsibilities, so I can't do that and take time to do that. But when you start putting things in motion, you realize, first of all, that things that are in sync with your being, they happen naturally. They just happen on their own. It doesn't feel like work. And also, you see how much time you really do actually have. Once you start putting things into motion, it's amazing how much you can accomplish in time that you didn't think that you had. You know, time that you're sitting in front of the boob tube, in front of the TV, or just wasted time. Or, there is no such thing as wasted time. I don't really believe that, but I think that you can use your time in ways that is wiser, and you can steer your life purposefully by using your focus and putting your focus on the things that you want to attain in your life. So if I have a dream of doing something, a lot of times the dream is your intuition telling you, or your yearning for something bigger, for some kind of substance to your life, for meaning, for your soul wants to get expression through certain things. And each of us are different. Each of us has our own unique expression. And we're all, our life is an art. And if we can pinpoint something, even if we can't muster up the emotion of it right now, but we do have a memory of the emotion. We do have a memory that there's certain things. When I went through my marriage, I was in an abusive marriage for years and years and years, and I lost all of my hobbies, all of my friends, all of my hobbies. I didn't have interests in anything. But when I finally got the strength up to, I hit a rock bottom. I see alcoholism as one of my biggest gifts that I received, because it made me take control back of my life. It made me make a change, because it was either when you hit that rock bottom. And rock bottom can be anything in life. It doesn't have to be alcoholism. It can be just to where you feel like you just can't go in the path that you're going on anymore, because it's not you, and you want your soul wants fulfillment. And so when I hit that rock bottom with the alcoholism, I didn't have a choice. It was either forfeiting myself, and then just from there, it's just straight downhill. Because once you give up hope on yourself, there is no hope, and then you just kind of indulge into uh, the life that. But I've always been an artist, sculpting, and I had all sorts of talents, sculpting and drawing, and I took that into graphic arts as a profession. And I'm taking the dogs out for a walk. I started this video even before I got up and at them this morning because I felt inspired. That is another thing. When the hit the metal, there's a saying, I don't know if it's in English too, but in Hebrew, it's hit the metal while it's hot. So if you have inspiration of doing something, or what I'm learning with these videos is a lot of times I'll have like an inspiration, and if I act on it, if I act on it while the inspiration is going, then it comes out naturally. If I wait on it a lot of times, it'll just continue to be just something written in my notepad. Just a minute, I'm taking out the garbage. And the doggies are really excited about their walk. So it's really just taking a move, taking one advancement. And what I was saying about that is that for years and years and years, I think for the last 8 years of my marriage, I didn't do any paintings or drawing at all. My artistic creativity came out in different ways. I was building a business, and so there were things that I did do. There were things that I did do during my marriage that were, achievements. Like I built a big business, and my creative side came out in other different ways. But I hadn't drawn or painted in years, and when I left my marriage finally, and I went through rehab, and I came back to Israel, my whole life shifted. It was like a breakdown of my whole life all at once. It was facing all of my fears. I think that one of the biggest fears that I had was being on my own. I had never really been on my own, and also having to support myself. Which I'm saying that there is, like, when you're doing what you're meant to be doing, there's a providence that comes along with it. When you do, and it's not always directly associated with whatever it is that you're doing. I'm going to take a short walk this morning. It's been raining. It's beautiful. It's been raining out, but I really want to get back. I'm excited about building my site. I'm still building my site this morning. So when I left my marriage, there's flies out. When I left my marriage, I wanted to take up drawing again and painting. And when I first started, it was like I was so out of, because it's like muscles. If you flex your muscle, if you move your muscles and use your muscles become stronger. If you don't, they start wilting and they become, weak. And it's just the same thing with talents. You could have God-given talents, and if you don't use them, then they start fading, and then they start losing you start losing your ability. And even till now, it's still returning to me. But in the beginning, when I first started, it's kind of like going back to that same fake it till you make it kind of deal, because you have to kind of fake it till you make it. And I started painting, and most of the paintings that I was doing was like, I was really surprised at myself because they were really crappy, but I still had the memory in me that was what I wanted to do. And slowly, as I progressed and kept up at it and kept doing the paintings and the drawings, that spark of inspiration started opening back up for me, and I started really enjoying it again. And so a lot of times it's just, first of all, act on this inspiration, because you know what you remember as a child, what you loved, or things that are in you, that you have that one day I'm going to do this, or one day I'm going to do that, one day when I have time. And those one days are today. Those one days, that's something that I realized in this spiritual awakening. There's no waiting for somebody else to come in and discover me. I have to discover myself. I'm the only one. Everybody else is all worried about their own selves. Everybody else is, there isn't anybody in this life that is for me like I am for me. There's nobody else that is in my life. It's also a scary thought, but it's also an empowering thought. I'm the only one that can make my future. It's like, I'm the only one. But then on the other hand, it's like, I'm the only one. I get to do this. I get to decide. Nobody else can decide for me. And not only can nobody else decide for me, nobody else can even know what is exactly right for me. I'm the only one. And it's an empowering thought. You can turn these thoughts both ways. And it's just to take a step. So if it is landscaping and gardening, is one of the remarks that I got on the video yesterday was like inspiring because because you know what it is. You know what you want. You know what you're good at. And then it's a matter of believing if it is attainable for you. And age is of no consequence. Age really is of no consequence. Whatever is life is for the living. As long as we have the power in our bodies, as long as we are alive, we're alive. I mean, people go out and learn at 70, in their 70s and their 80s. They go out and take courses and learn and still experience life. Life is, we are not this body. We are what is inside looking outward, and what is inside looking outward is an experiencer. And even it's the opposite. The older that we get, the more experience that we get, and the more and more the older our body gets. What's inside doesn't age. What's inside just gets smarter and smarter and smarter and collects more and more and more experience. So as we grow older, we have more to work with. It's like you get all this clay to build your life with, and the more experiences you have, the more clay you get, and the more you can build with, and the more exciting it gets. The more things have meaning, and the more opportunities you have, and also, the less you're driven by testosterone and all of the the ego kind of falls away as you grow older and you become more wise, hopefully. um, and you have much more to play with. Your whole playing field broadens. So as long as you're alive, the life is for the living, and there are infinite possibilities. Nobody else gets to tell you what is available for you or not available for you. So um, even if you want to do a complete reset and restart, it is all possible. Now, if you can, what's coming to mind is, you can completely change your mind from urban living to going and living in the country. People do it all the time. It's a matter of if you believe that it is available or an option for you. And also it's just like taking one little step. Take one little step in the directions you don't know. Open one door. You don't know what doors stand behind that door. So, and trust in divine guidance. So once you start moving, let's say 10 years ago when I got on this path, I was pretty much, hit rock bottom. I couldn't continue on the life that I was in. And I had, at that point, I had an unlimited platinum American Express card. I I had all the money in the world, which was something that when I was young, like maybe not all the money in the world, but you know, from where I grew up, I had like everything that I needed, and I realized that there wasn't happiness in that. It was and when I hit my rock bottom and I started on this path, it was almost like I didn't have a choice. It was almost like that's why I say that alcoholism was one of my biggest gifts that I was ever given in this life. It forced me to go down this spirit. It forced me into this awakening. I couldn't do it any longer. And once you start breaking habits that don't serve you, then you start breaking all the habits that don't serve you. It's not like you're going to break the biggest habit that doesn't and then leave all the rest. No, you have to, alcoholism is a symptom of something way deeper and way bigger. It's a symptom of your unworthiness, feeling unworthy. or a symptom of the life that you're leading isn't in sync with you, so that you drink because you can't handle it. But it's that way with all sorts of different addictions and different ways of being. And you get to a point in this spiritual awakening also where you just can't do what isn't in sync with you anymore. You have to go after what feels good. You just can't do it. It like overtakes you. Um, but what I was going to say is that when I first started the journey 10 years ago, and I know it's a 10 years, but, but it's not like that, because it's just like when you start losing weight. Well, let me finish what I was saying. When I first started, there was no way that from there I could see where I would be today. There is no way. And there's no way that I can see now where I'm going to be in 10 years. There's just no way. It's just like right now, if I get on the road and I drive to Tiberias, I can't see the person that's walking across the sidewalk in Tiberias, but I, the sidewalk, the crosswalk. But I can trust that when I get there, I'll know, I'll already be there. I've already gone all the path there. I'll know how to deal with it when I get there, because I'll already get tools that are along the way. And you also don't have to look at it like, oh, I want to be in that place, because every step of this journey is every step in your spiritual awakening has purpose and meaning to it, and it keeps going up, and you keep getting excited about it, because wherever you are today is further along than you were yesterday, and wherever you are today, um, you can't get ahead of yourself. It's not like you can go from the step that I was at 10 years ago to this place. I would have missed the whole journey. I would have missed everything that I have learned along the way. You can't do that. Everything is dependent on everything. That's why when you open one door, it opens up another door. It opens up another door. It opens up another door, and you can't see the whole path, but you can trust that the path is there. And it's just like that when you start moving towards your dreams. Take one little step. Take one little step. If you want to do gardening or landscaping, go first of all, you can do affirmations, which you would, or meditation, in which you imagine like the garden of your dream in your mind. You don't have to know where it's going to come from, but imagine yourself in the garden of your dream and what it looks like. Or imagine yourself as an author of a children's book, or an author of a fictional book. Today, there are no rules and regulations. Everybody today is a free spirit. That's what the new world is opening up into. It's just like the book that I published. It doesn't go by. One thing that I realized is that now you can do self-publishing. You can publish whatever you want, and you want it to be interesting, and you want it to be coherent. So you kind of go by guidelines that you find that, but really, who's to say that one way is better than other? And besides, everybody is sick of all the stiffness of the, oh, this has to, blah, 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 blah. If you set it up in a way that it makes sense to you, for sure, it'll make sense to a lot of other people as well. We're all, there's a lot, and especially it'll make sense to the people that you want to read your book, the people that connect to you, because people that connect to you are your same, on your same wavelength. They'll get it because it's connected to them. It's how their mind works as well. So it's almost like a premonition that fulfills itself. You just be your natural self, and you bring into your life the people that are attracted to that, and then you don't have to fake anything. You can just be yourself, and you can also get the exact people in your life that are magnetized to that. So it's perfect all the way around. If you want to do gardening, go out and get a plant. Go out and get a plant. Get a plant and put it in your kitchen or in your living room. Take care of that plant. And it gets you into the emotion of that. It allows you to feel, I also love doing gardening, and I love plants. And lately in my new house, I really have said a few times, I barely moved into. I've like very minimalistic, very minimum. I still have a whole bunch of stuff in storage I didn't even open. I'm just realizing I don't even need it. Going through life now is just kind of like, as I go, if I need paints, then okay, I'll go get some paints and a canvas. And I don't need the stockpiles of everything. I see that life pretty much opens up for you. The things that you need become relevant, and you just go and get them. And the things that you don't need around you, cluttering your mind and your soul. It's really simple. Um, and so what you're looking for is the emotion of what it is. What you're looking for is to take one little step towards it. Decide that you can do it. Don't tell yourself that you don't know. Tell yourself that you do know. One of the remarks that I got, I think it's the same gardening remark. It says, I've always wanted to do gardening or this or landscaping or something. And then it says at the end, at the very end, I don't know. But you do know. You just wrote what you know. You do know. What you don't know is if it's an option for you. And that is the mindset to change. Just know that it is an option for you. Nowadays in the modern world, in the Western world, anything that anybody can do, you can do too. It's a matter of changing your mindset, and we can get all sorts of tools for changing our mindset. We can use affirmations, of course, meditation. What I've been doing lately is um, I've been doing Louise Hay's uh, uh, affirmations for success, and I kind of do my own version along the way as well. And I'm going to be making some videos about that. And there's also some very specific videos that I want to make that I think I'm going to actually sit down and write a text for, because they're important subjects that I feel, and that I really do want to cover the different aspects that I want to put into the video. So coming up, I'm going to be doing some scripted videos. Maybe not scripted because I'm not going to sit and read, but that I have a layout for the videos, because it's subjects that I really feel are important to get covered all the way around, not just open up a video and start talking about the subject. Um, and I also want to do some guided meditation and affirmations for success, and something that I realize that helps me, and I think if it's helping me, then it can help others also envision. And just trust that there's divine guidance. Trust that when you get into the place that you need to be, um, the world opens up for you. The one thing leads to another, and there is like a divine there are divine patterns in the world. And when you allow yourself, like if you have a yearning to do something, that means that that is going to be what you do the best, what you have a natural knack for. It's what you are meant to be doing, and is what the universe will um, gain the most from you doing. And providence automatically comes from that. When you do what you're best at, you do it the best. And when you're the best at something, or you don't even have to be the best, it's not a competition, right? But when you do something that you're really good at, there is a need for that in the world. There's a need for everything in the world. There's a need for people that are artists. There's a need for spiritual guidance. There's a need for people that like technical things and to make little machines and motors. There are people that do gardening. There's people that like cleaning up. There are people that like to build things. Trust that the universe put out an equal amount of, there's everybody has their talents, and everybody's talents has a place in the world. It's just that society is out of whack, that there is like a one size fits all now in society. You go to school, and they have one little stream of knowledge that they shove down the kid's throat, and then they also give them grades according to that, where there's so many aspects and so much knowledge that isn't taken into consideration. It's a very mainstream. Schools were made for programming children into the workforce. And think about it, a 6-year-old goes and they're expected to sit on their butts 6 to 8 hours a day, sit on their butts. They have all this. You see it in nature. They're cubs. They're little human cubs. They want to be out and play. And if you see, by nature, humans and animals learn through play. They pretend like they're adults. They run around. They interact with each other. They play with the world. They pick up rocks and they beat things and they start building things, and they discover themselves through play. And what we're doing is taking the children out of their natural habitat and shoving them, and they discover themselves around adults because they see how the adults interact. We take kids, we put them with a whole bunch of other kids that are acting the same, with one adult, which is not their parent, so it's not their natural DNA kind of flowy. They're not getting trained by the person that has also given them a lot of their attributes. And Not that, today we're so out of whack, it doesn't even really, I mean, it's just, we're going into the new world. We're going into the new world. We're forming the new world, and we're forming it together. And taking back, the power of the people. That sounds so dorky. I would sound so dorky. It sounds but it's true, and it's not in a way of like of all power, let's go out and fight for the it's a way of just learning how to be in flow with the universe, and kind of like, okay, whatever, dude, I'm doing my own thing over here, and getting back to our true nature and allowing ourselves to follow uh, um, what comes naturally to us, and believing in ourselves. We were taught out of believing in ourselves, believing in that all options are open for me, believing that what my true calling, it feels that I'm allowed to do that I don't need permission from anybody else. I give the permission to myself, and that I am capable. I am a capable, strong being. Each of us is a capable, strong being, and can do anything that anybody else can do. As long as if we find our knack, if we find the place, our niche, if we find the place that we are naturally good at, it will feed into our own self security, and what is the word that I'm like, confidence. Because when you're in the right place, you realize how good you are at it. Confidence breeds in that, just in the knowing. Where a lot of us are so unconfident, like we lost all our confidence because we're not in our natural place of being. So we're not excelling, and we leave all the things that we do excel at as our hobbies on the side. And instead of being our main act, our main show. So, really, the spiritual awakening, coming back into yourself, is something that is gradual, and is something that, it's just like losing weight. You start losing weight. If you're looking at the end, like, oh, how am I going to get from here to there? It's overwhelming, and you can stop before you even start. But when you realize that when you do start losing weight, I was, for years and years and years dieting and worrying about my weight, and losing 10 pounds and gaining 10 pounds and losing 20 pounds and gaining 20 pounds, and going through it, especially with pregnancies and all sorts of things. But something that I did realize with losing weight is that once you start losing weight, when you lose that first 5 pounds, you already see it on your body. You already see it, and it gives you its own life power. It's like, wow, I look good. And then you start wanting that, and it starts becoming like a game, and then it becomes easier and easier, and it becomes more and more natural to you. And as you go, you're losing weight. It's just like the spiritual awakening. As you go, you're blossoming and opening, and the life becomes sweeter and sweeter, and you start looking for more and more. It starts becoming a game. So it's like you don't have to worry about how I'm going to get from here to Tiberias. You just open one door and step in. Go buy a plant. Get into the feeling of the emotion of what it is like to take care of that plant. Visualize yourself. You don't have to know how you're going to get from here to there, but if you start visualizing it, that it'll start your mind will start recognizing the opportunities in your life to get closer to that dream, because you'll start getting into that emotion of it and the feeling of it, and you'll start magnetizing those things to yourself, and you'll start recognizing them outwards, the opportunities. Your life will start shifting. It's a shift. It happens gradual, but as it happens, you're getting the rewards as you go. So you don't have to wait, oh, I'm going to arrive there at the end. There is no arrival point. It's gradual, and you get the awards along the way, and they're so sweet. It's like collecting candy. It's like walking along and collecting candy along your path. You know, oh, this realization, oh, that realization. All of a sudden, you look back and you say, even a month down the road, you look back and you say, wow, I'm in such a different place than I was. And purify your mind. Keep your mind clean. Keep your mind focused on the good, especially the words that you use with yourself. There's a video that I did not too long ago that our words are magic. Just a few days ago, I think. Brain. I watched it again for my own self, and I was like, oh wow, this really is giving me messages, because a lot of times these messages just come through me, and as they come through me, I get them, and a lot of times I forget even what I said in a lot of the videos or a lot of the messages. It's kind of like channeling. It is channeling. Um, and so when you start moving towards it, it starts catching its own momentum, and it gets like a life of its own. It's like an archetype. It starts getting a life of its own, and it starts taking you along the path, and it starts lifting you out of this dense vibration and the dense emotions, and you start lifting. And even when you get a month down the line, you look back and you're like, wow, I've come so far. And really watch the language that you use. Tell yourself that, enable yourself. You know, you're the only one. You're the only one that's with you all the time. If you're telling yourself, I can't do it, or I don't know, or how is that? It's not possible for me. Or even if you have those thoughts, you know, a lot of it's starting to take control of your thoughts. And anytime they be aware. Awareness is the first step. Be aware. Start watching your words, especially what you say about yourself, especially what you think is possible for yourself. And just know, in a knowing, that if anybody, if somebody else can do it, there's no reason why I can't do it in the modern world. You know, we're all have equal opportunities. The limitations are only in our mind of what I believe, what my parents achieved. Maybe I can't achieve more than them. Oh, where I came from, the neighborhood I belong to, the society. Everybody told me that I can't do it. I'm not smart enough. And who said? We all have like extreme intelligence, but in different subjects. You know, school doesn't define who you are. You know, I dropped out of high school. I went back afterwards and I completed and went to college, but as an adult after I already had children. But I dropped out of college, and that was something that was really detrimental, and really like I felt, because in school I always felt like everybody was dumb, but at the same time in school there were a lot of things that I just didn't get, and a lot of things that really bored me because my intelligence is different. You know, I didn't remember all the different dates, and it didn't interest me enough to sit down and study it, and so my grades reflected like that incapability. But at the same time, I saw all of the peers that were sitting around me, and the kind of intelligence that I had they didn't have. And so school really doesn't define you. And for years and years and years, that was this huge insecurity for me. I think that it was also part of the reason that I went and I actually studied and wanted to complete high school. And in retrospect, like when I look backwards, I see that it was all divinely guided, because then when I wanted to, there was something that I really wanted to learn. I wanted to learn interactive communications. My brother went to learn it, and he learned animation and drawing and graphic arts and film and editing and writing, and it entailed so much. 3D, I learned 3D Max, you know, how to make a 3D, three-dimensional movies, and it like had everything that really excited me, and I wanted to go and learn it. And so I remember I went and I asked my brother, "What do you have to get accepted?" And you had to have like there's like these different tests that you have to do in Israel, and I had to have like all these tests that I didn't have, and I had like 6 months till the next year started, and I was on it. I went and I started doing. I just full force went into it so that I could get accepted into the next year. So when you really want something, and you really want it, everything is open for you. You can do it. And I know that a lot of times it's hard to get up that gumption or that excitement about something, especially when we are already older and life is a life experience, and life has become dreary and we don't believe that we can. And so even to get up the excitement sometimes is difficult. But just knowing that you can, and knowing that once you start moving in the direction of it, the excitement comes with it. You start getting excited as you see results. So a lot of times it's just fake it till you make it. Just start. Know that the excitement's going to get there. Know that in the end I'm going to get to Tiberias because the road leads there. I don't have to know what traffic there is along the way, or what roads are closed, or, you know, if I set out on that journey, I just trust that I'm going to make it. So really, this is just start taking a step. a baby step, open the door, take one movement towards it. Trust that it's going to open for you. Believe me, there is a divine guidance here, and it just makes sense. You know, you start moving towards something, you start shifting your life. If you today take a movement, you know, start today. If today you take one step towards something that you want, it'll start shifting your life. Take your focus and move your focus over here. That is where your life is going to go. If you just stay in the same old line, that's where your life is going to be. It's going to be on the same old line, same old line, same old line. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I have some other videos that I'm going to be doing this morning, hopefully. So wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for writing into me. It inspires me and gives me, um, um, also helps me realize what, the thoughts that I have that I'm going through and really pinpoint them and put them into words. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.